With the current worldwide economic crisis beginning to be felt in Israel, Finance Minister Roni Bar-On has proposed a plan to reverse the situation, but the Histadrut has come out against the move. Here to provide analysis is Yoni Kempinski. Shalom, Yoni.
Shalom, Aaron.
So, Yoni, what action is the government taking in regards to the current financial crisis?
Aaron, it has to be remembered this is a transition government, so major policy changes are nominally forbidden. But yesterday, Finance Minister Roni Bar-On called a press conference where he presented the Treasury's market stimulus plan. Earlier that day, Bar-On went before the cabinet and presented the same plan. So the package calls for the government investments in the local economy to be increased by 40% to 21.7 billion shekels. That's $5.449 billion. This is for 2009, of course. At this point, the plan is very general, and Bar-On said it will be subject to change depending on economic conditions. Now, Aaron, this is the largest increase in government investments proportionally in Israel's history and is meant to address recent layoffs and bankruptcies which have hit the economy.
So is this Bar-On's initiative, or is the entire government behind it?
Well, how exactly the individual ministers will vote remains to be seen, and the working class, which gives significant support to two of the parties in the cabinet, Shas and Labor, will most likely bring pressure against portions of the plan, so essentially, time will tell. But when Bar-On presented the plan, both Bank of Israel Governor Stanley Fischer and Prime Minister Ehud Olmert were present and voiced their support for the plan, so it's likely the government will approve the measure. Fischer, though, added he wanted the government to reduce taxes to boost the economy. This is not part of Bar-On's proposal.
Now, Yoni, a plan like this must be generating some opposition.
Almost inevitably, when it comes to economic issues, things aren't simple. The Histadrut, the Labor Federation, has come out strongly against the plan. First, let's hear a Histadrut leader, Ofer Eini.
At this moment, I have no good news. On Sunday, the Histadrut will hold emergency meetings, and we will decide how we will struggle. All options are on the table. I hope that we will, through negotiations, be able to prevent a general strike.
Aaron, the pension funds have lost around 20% of their value since the crisis began. Now, while the Histadrut lacks the power they once enjoyed, it is still a huge federation of unions, which can cause massive damage to the economy and shut down key facilities like the ports and numerous basic services if a general strike is called. Despite this, there is no real way to predict if any will call a general strike, and with an election coming, it seems doubtful the Histadrut will stop working, allowing the public to have the memory of the strike fresh in their minds when they go to the polls, strengthening parties that want to weaken the union. At the same time, the Israel Manufacturers Association also criticized the stimulus plan for ignoring the crisis in capital markets.
Okay, Yoni, let's say this plan goes through. What does it mean for the economy?
Well, according to Bar-On, the layoffs which have afflicted the Israeli economy would be halted and 10,000 jobs would be created. However, higher government outlay and lower tax revenues will mean a strong increase in the government budget, and surpluses in tax revenue are going to be a thing of the past. The Finance Ministry, Aaron, had predicted a budget shortfall of 1% of GDP, but that will probably increase to at least 3%. So if the plan succeeds, it would be more jobs and a slowing of the economic downturn, but it will create financial problems which will have to be dealt with in the future, such as heavy debts Israel will incur to make the budget and which will need to be eventually paid off.
Yoni, thank you very much.